Learning Objective 18-5 is to understand and explain how governmental funds are reported and rules, and go over the rules for separate reporting as major funds. So GASB 34 requires two financial statements separately for governmental funds. And this is going to be a governmental funds balance sheet, as we saw before, and a governmental statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance, what we call a P&L, even though it can't have any profit and loss. And we went over the formula for these earlier. So these financial statements will be prepared for each and every fund, and they will form the foundation for the financial statements that you're going to prepare and issue to whoever's going to read it, not investors. So what we do is we then determine what the major governmental funds are. And those are the ones that are going to be reported individually. And if it's not major, then it's going to be combined with all of the other ones in a single column as other governmental funds. So this is kind of similar to what we did with segment reporting, where we said some segments are reportable, and then we kind of tried to aggregate them and so on. So the thing is, which are the major funds? The general fund is always going to be a major fund. And we use, again, criteria. So you have to meet both of the following criteria. And there's a little bit of flexibility that's given. What's called a 10% criteria. 10% of total assets, liabilities, revenues, or expenditures, expenses of that individual governmental or enterprise fund. Or I should say, the assets, liabilities, revenues, expenditures of that fund are at least 10% of the total for all of that fund type, or 5% that assets, liabilities, revenues, expenditures of that individual governmental are at least 5% of the total for all governmental and enterprise funds combined. So it's got to be 5%, 10% of the type, or 5% of the total. And if you meet either one of those criteria, then you are if you meet both of those criteria, then you are a major fund and you need to be reported separately. If you only meet one or neither of these criteria, then you're going to be grouped together into other governmental funds and shown in one column.